You gutted him like a fish in that apartment, too. You were relentless. You stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed until he was dead. I agree with the family. I hope you die in prison as well. You know, if this was a death penalty state, you'd be getting the chair.
Let's start this video with the case of Michelle Carter. Henry Roy III was a mere 18 years of age when he tragically ended his life on July 13, 2015. His 17-year-old girlfriend, Michelle Carter, had been persistently encouraging him to take his own life via text messages. This incident, widely referred to as the texting suicide case, became the center of an extensive investigation and led to an involuntary manslaughter charge in Massachusetts.
She manipulated and deceived his family into believing she tried her hardest to save him. She lied to the police about her role in his death.
In the days preceding Henry's demise, the texts, emails, and phone conversations exchanged between the couple were meticulously recorded and examined in court. The trial, overseen by Judge Lawrence Moniz, concluded with a verdict that found Carter guilty of involuntary manslaughter. This judgment was based on the fact that she had consistently encouraged Roy to end his life, despite being aware of his mental health struggles and his prescription for psychiatric medication.
What I am doing is I'm looking at myself so negatively, looking at myself minuscule little particle on the face of this earth. It's no good, trash, will never be successful, never have a life, never have kids, never learn. But I have a lot to offer someone.
Henry and Michelle initially crossed paths in 2012 during a family trip to Florida. Despite living merely 35 miles apart, their primary mode of communication was through texts and emails. Henry's family life was fraught with challenges, including physical abuse from his father and verbal mistreatment by his grandfather, factors that likely exacerbated his mental health struggles. Following his parents' divorce in 2012, Henry even made a suicide attempt. Michelle, on multiple occasions, had advised him to pursue professional mental health support. However, in a concerning shift, her messages veered towards a darker tone in July 2014, with her starting to suggest that Henry end his life. Despite sessions with various therapists and counselors, Henry's social anxiety and depression intensified. At 17, he suffered an overdose on acetaminophen, which led him to consult a cognitive behavioral therapist prior to his passing. On the day he took his life, Henry created video recordings of himself speaking to a camera before succumbing to carbon monoxide fumes in his pickup truck.
Hi, this is Conrad Henry Roy III, reporting to you about what's going on through my mind, what's going on through my head the last few days.
The funeral service for Henry took place at St. Anthony's Church in Mattapoisett. To commemorate his memory, the Northeast Maritime Institute set up the Captain Conrad H. Roy III Scholarship Fund. In February 2015, 7 months subsequent to Henry's passing, Michelle Carter faced charges of involuntary manslaughter. At her trial, she was convicted and initially handed a sentence of 2.5 years in prison. However, this sentence was later reduced, leading to her serving 11 months out of a 15-month term.
This court, having reviewed the evidence and applied the law thereto, now finds you guilty.
The case involving Carter was exceptional and provoked a multitude of inquiries, similar to the intriguing case of Jodi Ann Arias. Introducing Jodi Ann Arias. Travis Victor Alexander, a well-respected American salesperson, was cherished by his family, friends, and colleagues. Yet, his life met a tragic and abrupt end on June 4, 2008, when he fell victim to a brutal murder in his Mesa, Arizona home at the hands of his former girlfriend, Jodi Ann Arias. The news of his demise reverberated throughout the community and beyond. The circumstances of Alexander's death were harrowing. He had suffered 27 stab wounds and a gunshot to the head. Defensive wounds were evident on his wrists, and his jugular vein, common carotid artery, and trachea had been slashed. The evidence indicated a premeditated murder, and the prosecution was convinced of Arias's guilt. As the investigation unfolded, it uncovered startling aspects of Alexander's relationship with Arias, including deleted photographs of the pair in suggestive sexual poses, captured mere hours before the murder. Additionally, DNA traces from both Arias and Alexander were discovered in a blood-stained palm print on the bathroom hallway wall. At first, Arias completely denied any participation in Alexander's murder, even asserting that she wasn't in Mesa on the day of the crime. She contended that Alexander had been abusive to her, causing her to fear for her safety. However, during the trial, Arias changed her story, stating that she had killed Alexander in self-defense. But given her history of deceit, the question arose: who would give credence to her claim?
I thought I'd rather die. But as I stand here now, I can't in good conscience ask you to sentence me to death because of them.
Ultimately, the jury convicted her of first-degree murder. However, they reached an impasse regarding the imposition of the death penalty during the sentencing phase. Consequently, Arias received a life sentence without the chance of parole. The trial garnered extensive media coverage, leaving many pondering the enigma of how such a heinous act could have occurred. Introducing Ezra McCandless. Ezra J. McCandless, originally born as Monica Kay in 1997 to a teenage mother, Rosalina Gunnelson, in Stanley, Wisconsin, experienced a unique journey. Maintaining a close bond with her mother, following her parents' divorce at the age of 12, she explored various names and pronouns during her high school years, eventually legally adopting the name Ezra McCandless. After leaving college, McCandless relocated to Eau Claire, Wisconsin. In August 2017, she began living with her boyfriend, Jason Mengel, a 33-year-old National Guard medic. During the same period, she crossed paths with Alex Woodworth, a 23-year-old barista and substitute teacher at a coffee shop. Shortly thereafter, McCandless underwent an abortion and embarked on a clandestine romantic relationship with Woodworth. In February 2018, McCandless alleged that a friend of Mengel's had sexually assaulted her while she was unconscious. Woodworth, however, did not corroborate her version of events, and the case was subsequently dropped. Mengel eventually learned about McCandless's affair with Woodworth and the alleged assault, leading to a heated dispute at a coffee shop. McCandless held Woodworth responsible for the breakdown of her relationship with Mengel and requested him to cease all communication with her. Despite this, she maintained contact with Mengel, sending him journals filled with expressions of remorse for her infidelity. On March 22, 2018, after encountering Mengel at a coffee shop, McCandless paid a visit to Woodworth at his residence. Later that day, she appeared at the doorstep of dairy farmer Don Sipple, presenting herself as an assault victim. Covered in blood and mud and bearing bruises, her appearance was alarming.
This is Don Sipple calling, and I have a young lady that just came to my house and somebody attacked her and she needs a doctor. Her clothes are all torn and what is the address you're located at?
Upon investigating the dairy farm, detectives made a grim discovery: the body of Alex Woodworth, who had been fatally stabbed 16 times in the head, neck, groin, and torso. This led to the arrest of McCandless, who was subsequently found guilty of his murder. Initially, she claimed a lapse in memory regarding the incident. Nevertheless, evidence presented at her trial indicated that she had premeditated the murder and tried to stage it as self-defense. Ultimately, McCandless received a life sentence. Notably, she displayed neither remorse nor reaction when her sentence was announced. McCandless's fixation resulted in the downfall of her life, mirroring the destructive consequences of Camilla Gamut's impulsive behavior. We now turn our attention to Camilla Gamut. Camilla Gamut's life took a drastic turn when she was convicted of first-degree murder. Her defense attorney claimed that she had acted in self-defense against an unknown assailant, but the jury was unconvinced. Her boyfriend, 38-year-old Marcel Hill, was found deceased on May 18th, having sustained numerous stab wounds and blunt force trauma. During her trial, Gamut maintained that she had defended herself against an unidentified intruder using a lamp and a knife. The courtroom evidence told a different story, ultimately leading to her conviction for first-degree murder. In 2013, 31-year-old Camilla Gamut and Marcel Hill were cohabiting in Jackson. Their relationship was notable for their starkly contrasting personalities. Hill was known for his amiable, childlike demeanor. He was employed at a fast food restaurant and had only completed high school. Additionally, he lived with certain disabilities. Following the verdict, Hill's relatives gathered outside the court, joined in prayer. Diana Banks Joyner, Hill's aunt, expressed relief at the jury's verdict, deeming it a triumph in removing a dangerous individual from society. She also noted the family's desire for closure in this harrowing chapter, acknowledging that there are still lessons to be learned from this tragedy. Anthony Raduazzo, Gamut's attorney, indicated plans to appeal the verdict. The prosecution, however, highlighted the discovery of multiple weapons and the nature of Hill's injuries as critical factors swaying the jury's decision.
You gutted him like a fish in that apartment, too. You were relentless. You stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed until he was dead. I agree with the family. I hope you die in prison as well. You know, if this was a death penalty state, you'd be getting the chair.
Gamut was ultimately handed a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Introducing Shayna Hubers.
Call Ryan standing over me and grabbing the gun that was sitting on the table and pointing it at me and saying, I could just kill you right now and get away with it. Nobody would even know.
Ryan Carter Poston, a distinguished lawyer from Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, met a tragic end when he was fatally shot by his intermittent girlfriend, Shauna Michelle Hubers, on October 12, 2012. Born in 1982 to parents Jay Poston and Lisa Carter, Poston was the elder brother to 3 younger sisters. After his high school graduation, he pursued a triple major in history, geography, and political science at Indiana University. Subsequently, he earned his law degree from Northern Kentucky University and embarked on a legal career in Cincinnati, Ohio. Poston and Hubers, a psychology student at the University of Kentucky, initially made contact via Facebook in 2011. Despite the challenges posed by a long-distance relationship, they began dating. Their relationship was marked by instability and fluctuated over 18 months. On the fateful night of his planned date with Audrey Bolt, Miss Ohio, USA 2012, Poston's life was tragically cut short.
Plans on the night of October 12, 2012.
Yes,
Who were those plans with?
with Ryan. I was held up at a family event prior, and then we agreed to meet a little bit later in the evening.
Did you go to meet Ryan?
He didn't show up.
Did you wait?
Yeah.
Did Ryan ever show?
No.
And did you ever hear from Ryan again?
No.
Hubers asserted that she acted in self-defense when she fatally shot Poston 6 times at his condominium in Highland Heights. Despite the number of shots fired, Hubers maintained that each instance of firing was a necessary act of self-defense.
Pick on me and belittle me and bully me in front of strangers. And it could be for something as small as how I was eating my food.
Following her arrest, Hubers was detained in Campbell County Jail, unable to post bail. Her trial commenced on April 13, 2015, with her pleading not guilty to the charges of murder. The prosecution posited that the murder was an intentional act to irrevocably end the couple's tumultuous relationship. Conversely, the defense attorneys contended that Hubers was a victim of domestic abuse, asserting that the shooting was a necessary act of self-defense. In the course of the trial, the prosecution brought forward text message evidence that illustrated Hubers' fixation on Poston. They summoned various witnesses to testify, including Hubers' former cellmate Bolt, as well as members of Poston's family. Additionally, Cicely Miller, a friend of Hubers, took the stand. She testified that Hubers had bragged about killing Poston and had even made a jesting remark about finally giving him the nose job he had always wanted.
Couldn't stand to watch him twitch. I knew he was going to die or have a completely deformed face. He's very vain and wants to get a nose job. Just that kind of person. And I shot him right here. I gave him his nose job. He wanted.
On August 14th, 2015, Hubers received a sentence of 40 years in the Kentucky Department of Prisons, with eligibility for parole after 34 years. However, this conviction was overturned on appeal on August 25, 2016, due to the discovery that one of the jurors during Hubers' murder trial had a previous criminal conviction. Subsequently, during her second trial on August 28, 2018, Hubers was once again convicted of murder. She was then sentenced on October 18, 2018, to life imprisonment, with the possibility of parole after 20 years.